Okay guys, this video is going to show you how to graph for the allowance project in Spreadsheets. So you'll notice on your assignment sheet, the last thing for you to wrap up the assignment is to graph. So it tells you to create a column graph that shows each student and the amount of allowance they get per week. Customize the graph to include a main title and axis titles, left vertical axis and horizontal axis. You may customize it further if you'd like. Okay, so we've got our instructions. I'm going to switch over here. First thing you need to know is in spreadsheets, they use the term charting for what we would consider graphing. Okay, so anytime you see chart and graph, it means the same thing in spreadsheets. So we're going to start here. We were told on our instructions that our graph needs to have the name of each student and the amount of allowance they get per week. Okay, so we're going to start here and we're going to highlight. And notice on my highlight, I included the titles in row 1. I included name and weekly allowance. Then I have all of the students. Notice they are sorted because we did that step before the graphing step. And then we've included all the allowance that they get. So now we're going to come up here to the Insert menu. And you're just going to go down until you see Chart. Okay, Chart, Graph means the same thing. So I'm going to hit Chart. And now the chart editor pops up for us. And what you'll notice is Google Sheets takes the information that you have highlighted and it makes some recommendations. Okay, you don't necessarily have to follow the recommendations, but they give you a recommendation of what, looking at your data, what that program assumes would be the type of graph that you're looking for. Okay, so on this one, you'll notice that it has the names here across the horizontal axis, and then it has the weekly allowance up here on the vertical axis. And then we have a title up here, and this didn't work out great, how it tried to anticipate what our title would be. So we'll fix that in just a minute. But what I wanted to show you on this chart editor is you have 3 tabs across here. This is the recommended tab that comes up first, and they show you recommendations. On chart types, this is where you get to choose what type of graph you want to do. And notice some will make sense for your data and some won't. Like this line graph makes perfect sense for something like this if you wanted to do it. But our instructions tell us that we're supposed to do a column graph. Okay, that's what our instructions told us. So here's column. We can select that. Notice as you scroll down that there's a whole bunch of types of graphs that you can do. And some of them are just crazy that you would not do for this data. Okay, like a gauge chart, that would make sense for this type of data. But know that they're there in case you ever need them. So we have now our chart type selected. So now we're going to come over here to customization. And we want to make it look the way we want it to look. Okay, so instead of having a title called Weekly Allowance versus Name, I think we'll do something like Student Allowances. Maybe Student Weekly Allowances. Okay, that looks like a good title. Notice that you can change things here with your font and the color. Feel free to customize that if you want to. It automatically put a legend in for us. On this particular chart, I don't think it makes sense to show a legend because you only have one thing and it's obvious what that is. So I would take that legend out and just say none. Okay, so now the legend is removed. Again, notice you can customize however you want. Change the font if you'd like. Change the background to a different color. That's totally fine. Here's some other features. These would not be great for the type of data that we're doing right now. But there are certain times where stacking makes sense. It's just not this type of data, and we'll get into that later on. So here, this is all talking about your horizontal axis, and remember horizontal is side to side, so we're talking about this axis right now. It tells us the name, and that's because we highlighted it at the beginning. We highlighted name in A1, and so it selected name as the title there. If for some reason you forgot to highlight your titles of your columns, you could then just come in here and change that. There's also different things you can do here, font-wise, color-wise. You can slant your labels if you want to, but ours all fit here nicely, so you wouldn't necessarily need to do that. Then this is talking about the series. That's our weekly allowance, and notice here you can change color if you want to. Our axis is on the left, right here. If you want data labels, you could put data labels in there. Again, for this one, we don't need it because our data had dollars and cents on it, and it's not necessary. Okay, I think we pretty much have it the way we need it. We can hit Insert. And here's your chart. Now on your chart, it just drops it onto your spreadsheet. So you may want to pick that up and move it around so you can see your data. Mine's not letting me pick up right now. There we go. Let's see if I can slide that over. Okay, mine's kind of kicking it down. I'm going to pull it down below my information, see if it'll take it down. That's not liking me right now. Let me see if I can just take it. I'm going to cut it, Control X, and I'm going to put it on my next sheet over. I think the reason it's doing that is because I made the spreadsheet smaller. See how it only goes to column F? Let me paste that in. Okay, there we go. That's better. So now on sheet 2, I can see my chart, and if I want to, I can call it my graph or my chart, and then here's my data. Okay. So that's a quick lesson in how to graph on spreadsheets. If you need any help, let me know. I'm happy to help you.